Section 1 of Nuts and Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Larry Wilson. Nuts and Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Introduction and Buying Nuts. Introduction. Nuts contribute rich flavor and crunchy texture to many kinds of foods. Nuts are not only tasty, but nutritious as well. Familiar dishes take on a new interest when nuts are added. Nuts are filling because of their fat content and may prevent between-meal hunger pangs and encourage nibbling. Most common nuts contain about 10 to 15% protein and can be an added source of protein in meals. Peanuts are highest in protein with about 25%. Coconuts and chestnuts contain very little protein. This bulletin is a guide to buying, storing, and using nuts. Recipes feature nuts in main dishes, vegetables, salads, soups, breads, sandwiches, desserts, and snacks. Approximate calorie values for commonly used nuts are listed on page 2. Buying nuts. Kinds available. Many of the nuts on the market, such as almonds, pecans, filberts, English walnuts, and black walnuts, are grown in this country. Almonds are produced only in California. English walnuts and filberts are produced commercially only in California, Oregon, and Washington. Macadamia nuts are grown in Hawaii and California, and pine nuts, also called piñon or Indian nuts, are grown to some extent in the Southwest. Imported pine nuts are sometimes called pignolias. Other kinds of imported nuts include pistachios from the Middle East, Brazil nuts from South America, cashews from India and Africa, and coconuts from the West Indies, Central America, and the Philippines. Chestnuts, although grown in the United States, are usually imported from Southern Europe. Peanuts are not nuts as widely believed. They belong to the pea and bean family, the legumes. They are included here because they are used as nuts in family meals and snacks. Peanuts grow in abundance in the United States. 3 common varieties are Virginia, Runner, and Spanish. The shelled Virginia peanut is long and slender, the Runner small and stubby, and the Spanish peanut round. Chestnuts are available only in winter, but most other nuts are available in some form the year round. How nuts are marketed. Nuts may be purchased shelled or unshelled, with the exception of cashews, which are sold only shelled. Most nuts sold in shells are not roasted. However, peanuts are usually roasted, and chestnuts are sometimes roasted. If peanuts or chestnuts are roasted, this must be shown on the label. Shelled nuts are sold raw or roasted, and sometimes blanched. Roasted nuts may be unsalted, salted, or spiced. Shelled nuts may be purchased ground or in whole kernels, broken pieces, slivers, and slices. Shelled nuts are available in bulk and in plastic bags, glass jars, and cans of various sizes. Labels on the containers show the weight and sometimes the cup measure. One of the most common ways of marketing peanuts is in the form of peanut butter. Although fresh coconuts are often available, coconut is generally found in packages or cans. Canned coconut may contain more moisture than coconut in foil or plastic packages. Frozen prepared coconut is also stocked in some markets. Cost. Shelled nuts and processed coconut cost more than nuts in shells, but they are convenient and take less storage space. Because shelled nuts may vary widely in price, it's a good idea to compare costs of different brands, forms, and package sizes before buying. Mixed nuts are priced according to the kinds of nuts and their proportions in the mix. Calories in commonly used nuts. The list below shows the approximate number of calories for shelled nuts. Almonds unblanched, 170 calories per ounce, 210 calories per quarter cup. Brazil nuts, 185 calories per ounce, 230 calories per quarter cup. Cashews roasted, 160 calories per ounce, 195 calories per quarter cup. Chestnuts, 55 calories per ounce, 80 calories per quarter cup. Coconut, fresh, shredded, packed, 100 calories per ounce, 110 calories per quarter cup. Filberts, 180 calories per ounce, 215 calories per quarter cup. Peanuts, roasted, 165 calories per ounce, 210 calories per quarter cup. Peanut butter, 165 calories per ounce, 380 calories per quarter cup. Pecans, halves, 195 calories per ounce, 185 calories per quarter cup. Pistachios, 170 calories per ounce, 185 calories per quarter cup. Walnuts, black, chopped, 180 calories per ounce, 195 calories per quarter cup. Walnuts, English, halves, 185 calories per ounce, 160 calories per quarter cup. Footnote: Nut meats are whole and not roasted unless so indicated. Chopped nuts weigh slightly more than whole nuts per cup and are therefore higher in calories per cup. Form to buy. Buy the most convenient or economical form of nut meats for your purpose. Whole nut kernels make attractive snacks and garnishes. Broken pieces, which are often less expensive and take less preparation, may be used in any food where appearance of the nuts is not important. Slivered or sliced nuts save time and work in preparing garnishes and other foods. Ground nuts impart nut flavor without crunchy texture. Shredded or thread-type coconut makes an attractive garnish for salad and desserts. Flaked coconut is usually preferred for pies and cakes because it is easier to cut and serve. Moist or very moist coconut may be desirable for use in foods that are somewhat dry. Signs of quality. Nuts in the shell. Choose clean nuts that are free from splits, cracks, stains, or holes. Do not buy moldy nuts. They may not be safe to eat. Shelled nuts. Nut meat should be plump and fairly uniform in color and size. Limp, rubbery, dark, or shriveled kernels may be stale. These visual qualities can be judged in transparent packages. Sometimes antioxidants are added to delay the onset of rancidity, thus extending the shelf life of packaged nut meats. When antioxidants or other preservatives are added, they are listed on the package. Only those approved by the Food and Drug Administration are used. Peanut butter. Peanut butter should have a rich, nutty flavor and should spread easily. Crunchy peanut butter is produced by adding pieces of peanuts to regular peanut butter. Stabilizers are often added to peanut butter to retard oil separation. Salt and occasionally sweeteners are added for flavor. Coconut. A good fresh coconut is heavy for its size. Before purchasing, shake the coconut to be sure it contains milk. Avoid cracked coconuts and those with wet, moldy eyes. Amount to buy. 1 pound of unshelled nuts will give the following approximate weight and volume of shelled nuts. Almonds, whole, 6 1/3 ounces, 1 1/4 cups. Brazil nuts, whole, 7 2/3 ounces, 1 1/2 cups. Coconut, shredded, 8 1/3 ounces, 3 cups. Filberts, whole, 7 1/3 ounces, 1 1/2 cups. Peanuts, roasted, 11 2/3 ounces, 2 1/3 cups. Pecans, halves, 8 1/2 ounces, 2 1/4 cups. Walnuts, black, chopped, 3 1/2 ounces, 3/4 cups. Walnuts, English, halves, 7 1/4 ounces, 2 cups. End of section 1.
Section 2 of Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Brian Wilson. Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers, by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Storing nuts and preparing nuts for use. To maintain best eating quality, most nuts need protection from oxygen in the air and from high temperatures that may cause the fat in the nuts to become rancid. Nuts in the shell retain high quality longer than shelled nuts. Whole nuts become rancid less quickly than nuts in pieces. Unroasted nuts keep better than roasted ones. Nuts in the shell keep well in a nut bowl at room temperature for a short period of time. For prolonged storage, keep them in a cool, dry place. Avoid storing nuts in a damp place. Shelled nuts will keep fresh for several months, stored in tightly closed containers in the refrigerator. Shelled nuts in unopened cans keep well in a cool, dry place, but will maintain good quality longer in the refrigerator or freezer. Shelled or unshelled nuts can be frozen in tightly closed freezer containers at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Fresh coconuts in the shell retain good quality up to a month in the refrigerator. Containers of ready-to-eat coconut keep best in the refrigerator. Peanut butter will keep its quality longer in the refrigerator than at room temperature. Chestnuts are perishable at room temperature, but will keep several months in the refrigerator in loosely covered containers or in ventilated plastic bags. Shelled blanched chestnuts, whole or chopped, may be frozen for longer storage. Pack them in tightly closed freezer containers and freeze immediately at 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower. Use in cooking without defrosting. Preparing nuts for use. Many nuts are ready for use as purchased. Others require shelling, skin removal, roasting or toasting, or merely cutting into pieces. Shelling nuts. Everyone has a favorite way of cracking nuts. Some prefer using a nutcracker, and others a hammer on a hard surface. Hard shells are easier to crack, and nut meats break less often if nuts are first soaked in warm water several hours or overnight. Spread nut meats and let them stand a few hours to dry before storing. To open a coconut, pierce the eyes with an ice pick or large nail and drain the liquid from the coconut. To remove the shell easily, bake the drained coconut at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, moderate oven, for 20 to 30 minutes, or put it in the freezer for an hour. Then place the coconut on a firm surface and tap the shell lightly with a hammer in several places until it cracks. Separate the meat from the shell. Removing skins. Removing thick skins from some shelled nuts gives them a delicate flavor and improves appearance. This may be done by placing nuts in boiling water, called blanching, or by roasting. Almonds and peanuts. To blanch shelled almonds or Virginia or runner peanuts, put them into boiling water and let stand 3 minutes. Drain. Slide skins off with your fingers. Spread nuts on absorbent paper to dry. Roasting also will loosen the skins of peanuts, either shelled or unshelled. Filberts. Spread nuts in a single layer in a shallow baking pan. Bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit, slow oven, for 10 to 15 minutes, or until heated through, stirring occasionally. Cool slightly and slip skins off with your fingers. Chestnuts. Blanch chestnuts by putting them in boiling water and letting stand 2 minutes. Remove a few at a time, cool slightly, then peel with a paring knife. If nuts are difficult to peel, return them to the hot water for a minute or two. Roasting also will loosen the skins of chestnuts. Remove shells and skins while nuts are warm. Coconut. Use a vegetable parer to remove the brown skin. Roasting or toasting nuts. Roasting or toasting enhances the flavor and color of nuts. Roasting is done in the oven. Peanuts and chestnuts are commonly roasted in the shell. Toasting may be done in the oven or on top of the range. To roast or toast shelled nuts. Mix 1 teaspoon cooking oil or melted fat with each cup of nut meats, if desired, for richer flavor and even browning. To roast or toast, spread nuts on a shallow pan or baking sheet. Heat at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, moderate oven, for 5 to 12 minutes, or until lightly browned, stirring occasionally. Toasting may also be done in a heavy pan on top of the range. Heat nut meats slowly for 10 to 15 minutes until lightly browned, stirring frequently. Nuts continue to brown slightly after removing from heat, so avoid overbrowning. Sprinkle hot roasted nuts with salt if desired. Cool nuts on absorbent paper. To roast or toast processed coconut. Use method for shelled nuts without added fat. To roast peanuts in the shell. Spread peanuts in a shallow pan and roast at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, moderate oven, stirring occasionally for 15 to 20 minutes. To test doneness, remove a nut from the oven and shell it. The skin should slip off easily and the kernel should be lightly browned and have a roasted flavor. To roast chestnuts in the shell, slash through the shells on the flat side of the nuts. Place chestnuts, cut sides up, on a baking sheet. Roast at 400 degrees Fahrenheit, hot oven, until tender, about 20 minutes. Insert fork through cut in shell to test tenderness. Cutting nuts. Chop or cut nuts on a board with a knife that has a long, straight cutting edge, or use a nut chopper. Sliver or slice nuts while still warm and moist from blanching with a thin, sharp knife blade. End of section 2.
Section 3 of Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Using nuts in main dishes. Recipes. The versatile nut may come to the dinner table in a variety of ways, as an ingredient in cooking or as a garnish. Nuts are also popular as a snack or served with appetizers. Try the nut recipes that follow. All recipes give the number of calories for a specified amount of food. In some cases, the variation of a recipe has a lower calorie value. Ideas for using nuts to complement familiar recipes are also included. Using nuts in main dishes. Chestnut stroganoff. 6 servings, about 3/4 cup each. Beef, boneless, tender, lean, cut in julienne strips, 1 1/2 pounds. Fat or oil, 1 tablespoon. Butter or margarine, 2 tablespoons. Flour, 2 tablespoons. Onion salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Celery salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Paprika, 1/2 teaspoon. Salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Beef bouillon or beef broth, 1 1/4 cups. Sour cream, 1/2 cup. Cooking sherry, 1 tablespoon if desired. Chestnuts, cooked, mashed, see note, 1 cup. Baked potatoes or cooked rice or noodles, as desired. Lightly brown the meat in fat or oil in a fry pan over moderate heat. Drain off any excess fat. Melt butter or margarine in a saucepan. Blend in flour and seasonings. Add bouillon or broth slowly, stirring constantly. Stir and cook until smooth and bubbly. Remove from heat. Blend in sour cream, sherry, and chestnuts. Add chestnut sauce to meat. Heat just until mixture bubbles, stirring constantly. Serve over potatoes, rice, or noodles. Note: to prepare mashed chestnuts, cook 1 1/4 cups shelled, blanched chestnuts in 1 1/4 cups boiling water in a covered saucepan for about 30 minutes or until tender. Drain and mash. Calories per serving: about 380 for stroganoff, excluding potatoes, rice, or noodles. Variation: gourmet chestnut sauce. Omit the meat. Serve sauce over cooked meat, potatoes, rice, or noodles. About 180 calories per serving of sauce, 1/3 cup each. Nut stuffing: about 2 cups or 6 servings, 1/3 cup each. Butter or margarine, 1/4 cup. Onion, finely chopped, 1/4 cup. Celery, stalks and leaves, chopped, 1/4 cup. Mushrooms, chopped, 1/4 cup. Salt, 1 teaspoon. Thyme, 1/2 teaspoon. Poultry seasoning, 1/4 teaspoon. Cayenne pepper, dash. Garlic salt, dash. Bread cubes or coarse soft crumbs, 2 cups. Chicken or beef bouillon or meat broth, 1/2 cup. Nuts, pecans, cashews, almonds, filberts, or roasted peanuts, finely chopped, 3/4 cup. Preheat oven to 325 degrees Fahrenheit, slow. Grease a 1-quart baking dish. Melt fat in a heavy pan. Add onion, celery, mushrooms, and seasonings. Cook a few minutes until celery is tender but still crisp, stirring occasionally. Add bread, bouillon, or broth, and nuts. Mix lightly but well. Put stuffing into baking dish. Bake 25 to 30 minutes, or until slightly browned. Note: stuffing may be used as a filling for chicken or breast of veal or lamb. Calories per serving, about 200. Variation: chestnut stuffing. Use blanched, chopped chestnuts in place of other nuts. About 140 calories per serving. Mediterranean chicken. 6 servings, 3/4 cup each. Butter or margarine, 1 tablespoon. Onion, finely chopped, 1 tablespoon. Celery, chopped, 1/2 cup. Green beans, frozen, French style, 10-ounce package. Pimiento, chopped, 1 tablespoon. Chicken, cooked, diced, 2 cups. Cream of mushroom soup, condensed, 2 cans, 10 1/2 ounces each. Oregano, 1/2 teaspoon. White pepper, as desired. Cashew or roasted peanut halves, 2/3 cup. Parsley, minced, 1 tablespoon, if desired. Melt fat in 2 or 3-quart saucepan. Add onion, celery, and beans. Cover and simmer over low heat about 15 minutes, stirring occasionally until beans are tender. Add pimiento, chicken, soup, and seasonings. Cook 10 minutes longer to blend flavors, stirring as needed to prevent sticking. Stir in nuts. Sprinkle with parsley before serving, if desired. Calories per serving, about 310 with cashews, 315 with peanuts. Variation: Mediterranean tuna. Omit fat and chicken. Cook onion, celery, and beans in 1/2 cup water instead of fat. Use a 13-ounce can of water-packed tuna, drained, in place of chicken, and almonds in place of other nuts. Continue as in Mediterranean chicken, about 305 calories per serving. End of Section 3. Read by Marissa D. Six, Largo, Florida, November 11th, 2023.
Section number 4 of Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by Brian Wilson. Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture, using nuts in salads. Golden cheese salad, 6 servings. Lemon-flavored gelatin, 3-ounce package. Boiling water, 1 cup. Cream cheese, chilled, 1½ ounces. Nuts, pecans, macadamias, or roasted peanuts, chopped, 1/3 cup. Crushed pineapple, 2 cups. Carrots, shredded, 1 cup. Lettuce leaves, as desired. Dissolve gelatin in boiling water. Chill. Cut cream cheese into 18 cubes. Coat cream cheese cubes with nuts and roll into balls. Stir pineapple and carrots into gelatin. Add cream cheese balls. Chill several hours or overnight until firm. Serve on lettuce leaves. Calories per serving, about 185. Stuffed date salad, 6 servings. Dates, pitted, 18. Peanut butter, crunchy, 3 tablespoons. Grapefruit, chilled, sectioned, 2. Salad greens, as desired. Fill the dates with the peanut butter. For each salad, arrange 3 stuffed dates with grapefruit sections on crisp salad greens. Calories per serving, about 135. Nut salad suggestions, 6 servings. Chicken nut in tomato cups. Add 1/2 cup cashew, almond, or roasted peanut halves to chicken salad just before serving. Core 6 tomatoes, cut into wedges partially through each tomato. Top tomatoes with salad. Waldorf date. Add 1/2 cup pitted, chopped dates to a tart Waldorf salad. Gently stir in 1/2 cup pecans, English walnuts, or roasted peanuts. Serve immediately. Waldorf grape. Add 1/2 cup seeded, quartered red grapes to Waldorf salad. Gently stir in 1/2 cup chopped pecans, English walnuts, or roasted peanuts. Sprinkle with cinnamon if desired. Serve immediately. Shrimp nut in tomato cups. Add 1/2 cup cashew or almond halves to shrimp salad. Serve in tomato cups. End of section 4.
Section 5 of Nuts and Family Meals, a guide for consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nuts and Family Meals, a guide for consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Using nuts in soups. Cream of cashew soup. 6 servings, about 2/3 cup each. Butter or margarine, 1 tablespoon. Celery, finely chopped, 2 tablespoons. Onion, finely chopped, 2 tablespoons. Flour, 2 tablespoons. Milk, 1 cup. Chicken broth or bouillon, 2 cups. Salt, 1/8 teaspoon. Pepper, as desired. Hickory salt or Worcestershire sauce, 1/4 teaspoon. Salted cashews, finely chopped, 1 cup. Paprika or minced parsley, as desired. Melt fat in a heavy saucepan. Add celery and onions. Cook, stirring frequently until tender. Blend in flour. Gradually stir in liquids, salt, pepper, hickory salt or Worcestershire sauce, and nuts. Bring to boil, stirring as needed. Cook 1 minute longer. Garnish as desired with parsley or paprika. Note, if preferred, grind 1 cup of nuts and use in place of chopped nuts. Reduce flour to 1 tablespoon. Calories per serving, about 190. Variation. Cream of peanut butter soup. Omit the cashews, reduce flour to 1 tablespoon. Blend in 3/4 cup peanut butter before adding liquids. About 245 calories per serving. End of section 5. Read by Brize, Ohio.
Section 6 of Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers. by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Using nuts in breads. Peanut butter muffins. 12 muffins. Milk, 1 cup. Egg, slightly beaten, 1. Oil or melted fat, 1/4 cup. Flour, unsifted, 2 cups. Baking powder, 1 tablespoon. Salt, 1 teaspoon. Sugar, 1/4 cup. Peanut butter, 1/2 cup. Preheat oven to 400 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot. Grease muffin tins. Blend milk into egg and add fat. Mix dry ingredients thoroughly. Mix in peanut butter only until mixture is crumbly. Add liquid and mix slightly, leaving batter lumpy. Half fill muffin tins with batter. Bake 20 to 25 minutes or until golden brown. Calories per muffin, about 210. Fruit nut bread, 1 loaf. Light brown sugar packed, 2/3 cup. Shortening, 1/4 cup. Eggs, 2. Flour unsifted, 2 cups. Baking powder, 2 teaspoons. Baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon. Salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Milk, 1 cup. Candied fruit, chopped, 3/4 cup. Lemon rind, grated, 1 teaspoon. Brazil nuts, English walnuts, or pecans, chopped, 1/2 cup. Preheat oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Moderate. Grease a 9 by 5 by 3 inch loaf pan. Beat sugar, shortening, and eggs until creamy. Mix dry ingredients thoroughly. Stir dry ingredients and milk alternately into egg mixture. Add fruit, lemon rind, and nuts to last portion of flour mixture before stirring into batter. Pour into baking pan. Bake about 1 hour or until toothpick inserted in center of loaf comes out clean. Cool on rack 10 minutes before removing from pan. Finish cooling on rack. Calories per ½ inch slice, about 175. Variations. Coconut orange bread. Omit candied fruit, lemon rind, and nuts. Add 1 cup flaked coconut and 1 tablespoon grated orange rind. About 145 calories per ½ inch slice. Nut bread. Omit candied fruit and lemon rind. Use 1 cup chopped nuts in recipe and add 1/2 teaspoon vanilla. About 165 calories per ½ inch slice. End of section 6.
Section 7 of Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by BettyB. Nuts in Family Meals, a Guide for Consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Using nuts in desserts. Coconut cream pudding. 6 servings, 1/3 cup each. Cornstarch, 3 tablespoons. Sugar, 1/4 cup. Salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Milk, 2 cups. Egg yolks, beaten, 2. Butter or margarine, 2 tablespoons. Vanilla, 1 teaspoon. Shredded or flaked coconut, 1/2 cup. Whipped topping, if desired. Mix cornstarch, sugar, and salt in heavy saucepan. Gradually blend in milk. Stir over moderate heat about 7 minutes or until mixture thickens. Stir a little of the hot mixture into egg yolks, then stir yolks into remaining hot mixture. Cook 1 minute longer, stirring constantly. Mix in fat, vanilla, and coconut. Serve warm or chilled. Add whipped topping if desired. Note: for this recipe, use only clean eggs with no cracks in shells. Calories per serving, about 190 without topping. Easy method. Combine egg yolks with milk before stirring into cornstarch mixture. Pudding will not be quite as creamy. Variation: coconut cream pie. Fill a baked 8-inch pastry shell with pudding. Add whipped topping and sprinkle with toasted coconut. Cut into 6 servings, about 308 calories per serving without topping. Toasted coconut pie shell. 8-inch pie shell, 6 servings. Coconut, less moist type, 1 1/2 cups. Butter or margarine, 3 tablespoons. Stir coconut in a large fry pan over low heat until toasted. Stir fat into toasted coconut. Press mixture evenly into 8-inch pie pan. Chill. Note: fill pie shell with a cooled pudding type filling, or fill with ice cream and place in freezer for a few minutes until set. Calories per serving of pie shell, about 160. Variation: baked coconut pie shell. Melt fat and mix with untoasted coconut. Press into pie pan. Bake at 300 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes or until browned. Pecan chess pie. 9-inch pie, 8 servings. Brown sugar, packed, 1 cup. Granulated sugar, 1/2 cup. Flour, 1 tablespoon. Eggs, 2. Milk, 1/4 cup. Butter or margarine melted, 1/2 cup. Vanilla, 1 teaspoon. Pecans, chopped, 3/4 or 1 cup as desired. Pastry shell unbaked, 9-inch. Preheat oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Moderate. Mix sugars and flour. Beat in eggs and milk. Stir in fat, vanilla, and nuts. Pour mixture into pastry shell. Bake 40 minutes or until a knife inserted in the center comes out clean. Cool before serving. Calories per serving, about 475 with 3/4 cup nuts, 500 with 1 cup nuts. Variations: pecan tarts. Divide dough for 9-inch pie into 12 parts. Roll into thin circles and fit into 2 1/2-inch muffin tins. Add filling. Baking time will be slightly less than for pie. About 315 calories each with 3/4 cup nuts, 330 calories with 1 cup nuts. Peanut pie or tarts. Use roasted peanuts for the nuts. Calories will be about the same. Peanut butter cookies. 4 1/2 dozen cookies. Shortening, 1 cup. Peanut butter, 1 cup. Granulated sugar, 1 cup. Brown sugar packed, 1 cup. Eggs, 2. Vanilla, 1 teaspoon. Flour, unsifted, 2 1/2 cups. Salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Baking soda, 3/4 teaspoon. Baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon. Preheat oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, moderate. Beat shortening and peanut butter together until creamy. Gradually add sugars, beating thoroughly. Beat in eggs and vanilla. Mix remaining ingredients and stir into peanut butter mixture. Shape dough into 1-inch balls. Place about 2 inches apart on an ungreased baking sheet. Flatten each by pressing crisscross with a fork. Bake 10 to 15 minutes until lightly browned. Remove from baking sheet while warm. Calories per cookie, about 110. Sundae nut syrup. About 3/4 cup, 6 servings. Butter or margarine, 2 tablespoons. Pecans or English walnuts chopped, 1/2 cup. Brown sugar packed, 1/4 cup. Water, 2 tablespoons. Light corn syrup, 2 tablespoons. Melt fat in a small fry pan. Add nuts and cook over low heat, stirring as needed until nuts are lightly browned. Stir in remaining ingredients. Simmer 2 minutes. Note: serve warm over ice cream. Calories per serving of syrup, about 150. Nut meringue shells. 6 large or 12 small shells. Cream of tartar, 1/4 teaspoon. Egg whites, 3. Salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Sugar, 3/4 cup. Pecans, chopped, 1 cup. Preheat oven to 250 degrees Fahrenheit. Very slow. Add cream of tartar to egg whites and beat until foamy. Add salt and continue beating until soft peaks form. Add sugar gradually, beating constantly until very stiff peaks form. Fold in chopped nuts. Drop meringue in 6 or 12 mounds as desired onto heavy brown paper or aluminum foil on a baking sheet. Using the back of a spoon, form a hollow in the center of each mound. Bake 1 hour. Turn off heat and let meringues cool in oven 1 to 1½ hours. Note: serve filled with ice cream or a cooled pudding. Calories per meringue shell: large, about 240; small, about 120. Fruit and nut sauce: about 1½ cups, 6 servings. Sweetened frozen fruit: strawberries, red raspberries, or mixed fruit. Thawed, drained, 10-ounce package. Liquid from frozen fruit plus water, 1 cup. Sugar, 1/4 cup. Cornstarch, 1 tablespoon. Raisins chopped, 1 tablespoon if desired. Lemon juice, 2 tablespoons. Rum extract, 1/4 teaspoon if desired. Pecans, toasted, chopped, 1/4 cup. Cut large pieces of fruit into bite-sized pieces. Stir fruit liquid gradually into sugar, cornstarch, and raisins in a saucepan. Cook over medium heat, stirring constantly until clear and thickened. Add lemon juice, rum extract, pecans, and fruit. Note: serve over ice cream or warm cake. Calories per serving of sauce, about 125. Variation: cocoanut fruit sauce. Omit raisins and pecans. Toast 1/4 cup flaked cocoanut, sprinkle over the fruit sauce. About 105 calories per serving. End of section 7.
Section 8 of Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Sauces that brighten vegetables. Recipe for 6 servings. Chinese. Melt 3 tablespoons butter or margarine. Stir in 4 teaspoons soy sauce, 1/4 teaspoon onion salt, and 1/8 teaspoon white pepper. Heat. Add 1/4 cup slivered toasted almonds. How to serve. Mix with cooked drained cabbage, broccoli, asparagus, or green beans. Sour cream. Mix 2/3 cup sour cream, 1/4 teaspoon grated onion, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1/8 teaspoon white pepper. If desired, add 1 teaspoon horseradish and 1/8 teaspoon ground dill seed. Chill. Stir in 1/3 cup chopped toasted almonds or pecans. Serve over hot baked potatoes, asparagus spears, sliced cucumbers, or beet salad. Sweet sour. Blend 2 tablespoons cornstarch, 3 tablespoons sugar, and 1/2 teaspoon salt into 1 tablespoon melted butter or margarine. Gradually stir in 1 cup vegetable cooking liquid and water. Cook, stirring constantly until thickened and clear. Blend in 3 tablespoons lemon juice or vinegar. Heat with vegetable. Sprinkle with 1/3 cup chopped almonds, English walnuts, or pecans. Combine with cooked drained onions, beets, or cabbage. Lemon. Blend 2 tablespoons flour, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1/8 teaspoon onion salt into 2 tablespoons melted butter or margarine. Gradually stir in 1 cup milk. Cook, stirring constantly until thickened. Remove from heat. Blend in 2 teaspoons lemon juice and a few drops of yellow food coloring. Add 1/3 cup toasted almonds, cashews, English walnuts, or pecans. Serve over cooked drained cauliflower, broccoli, asparagus, or potatoes. End of section 8.
Section 9 of Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Read by BettyB. Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture. Other nut favorites. Nippy cheese nut dip, about 1 cup. Cream cheese, softened, 2 packages, 3 ounces each. Mayonnaise, 1/4 cup. Onion salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Hickory salt, 1/4 teaspoon. Garlic salt, few grains. Nuts. Pecans, toasted almonds, cashews, or roasted peanuts, finely chopped, 1/2 cup. Blend cream cheese with mayonnaise and seasonings. Stir in nuts. Note: serve with chips or crackers. Calories per tablespoon, about 90 with pecans or cashews, 95 with almonds or peanuts. Sugar and spice nuts, about 4 cups. Butter or margarine melted, 1 tablespoon. Egg whites slightly beaten, 1. Unroasted almonds, English walnuts, and/or pecans, 2 cups. Sugar, 1 cup. Salt, 1/2 teaspoon. Cinnamon, 1 1/2 teaspoons. Nutmeg, 3/4 teaspoon. Allspice, 3/4 teaspoon. Preheat oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Slow. Slowly stir melted fat into beaten egg whites. Stir in nuts. Mix sugar and spices. Spread about 1/4 of the sugar mixture in a 10 by 15 inch shallow baking pan. Coat a few nuts at a time in remaining sugar mixture and arrange in the pan. Sprinkle rest of sugar mixture over nuts. Bake 15 to 20 minutes or until nuts are lightly browned. Remove nuts from oven. Stir gently to separate nuts. Cool. Store in tightly closed container. Calories per tablespoon, about 35. Cocktail nuts, about 3 1/2 cups. Butter or margarine, 2 tablespoons. Salted mixed nuts with peanuts, 1 pound. Onion or hickory salt, 1 teaspoon. Paprika, 1/2 teaspoon. Preheat oven to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. Slow. Melt fat in a shallow baking pan in the oven. Remove pan from oven and stir nuts into fat. Sprinkle with seasonings. Bake 15 to 20 minutes or until nuts are heated through, stirring occasionally. Cool. Store in tightly closed container. Calories per tablespoon, about 55. For extra flavor, add nuts. It takes only a little imagination to make company fare of plain food. Special recipes are not always needed. Many of your favorite foods are more delicious when you add nuts. Start with these suggestions. Serve sour cream with nuts on meat or baked potatoes. For waffles, biscuits, or muffins, stir nuts into blended dry ingredients before adding liquid. Mix honey or crisp bits of bacon with peanut butter for a sandwich filling, or use peanut butter and cheese slices for a grilled sandwich filling. Add nuts to meat, poultry, or seafood salads. Try slivered or sliced nuts in tossed vegetable salads. Mix coconut with food coloring for garnish. Roll ice cream balls in tinted or toasted coconut or chopped nuts. Freeze balls separately until set. Use toasted coconut or toasted chopped nuts as a quick topping for cream pie or ice cream pie. Sprinkle cupcakes with nuts before baking and skip the frosting. For a spread on crackers or celery, add finely chopped roasted peanuts to cream cheese that has been blended with a little milk. Perk up your next vegetable soufflé. Add finely chopped nuts along with the vegetable. End of section 9. End of Nuts in Family Meals, a guide for consumers by U.S. Department of Agriculture.